Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a classic piece of Australian numismatic history, the 1980 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition, and we're going to explore its story, what it's made of, why collectors love it, and what it might be worth today in US dollars. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, this video is packed with positive insights and lots of fascinating facts, so let's get into it. The 1980 Australia 20-cent coin was minted during a time when decimal currency was already well established in Australia, having replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence back in 1966. This coin features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the beloved platypus design on the reverse, a design that has become iconic in Australian coinage. Now, when we talk about condition, very fine is an important grade for collectors. It means the coin shows light wear from circulation, but all the major design elements, the Queen's portrait, lettering, and the platypus, are clear and pleasing to the eye. A coin in this condition feels special because it still carries the character of decades of history while remaining well-preserved and visually appealing. This composition gives the coin a nice silvery sheen and good durability, which is why many of these coins have survived the past 40-plus years in collectible condition. The metal mix wasn't chosen by accident. It was selected to balance strength with a look that's pleasing to the eye, making it a coin that handles everyday use while yet still looks great when added to a collection. So why do collectors enjoy the 1980 Australian 20-cent coin? First, its place in history makes it appealing. It's part of the early decades of Australia's decimal currency era. And although it's not an extremely rare coin with millions struck back in 1980, many collectors still seek it out to complete typesets or to represent that era in their. There's also a positive energy around collecting these coins because they connect us to the everyday life of Australia in the 1980s. From pocket change to prized collectible, that journey creates a story that coin lovers truly appreciate. Now let's talk value, and here's the exciting part. According to recent collector market data, a standard 1980 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition generally has a value in the range of about $1.50, $0 to $1.70 thousand. That might not sound like a fortune, but it's important to remember that this value reflects general collector demand for coins in typical circulated condition. It's also an encouraging sign, after more than 40 years, this coin is still worth more than its face value to someone who truly loves coins. Now, if you happen to find an unusually preserved or certified example, and it's genuinely graded by a reputable grading service, you could potentially see values well above that average. Some special pieces, proof versions, or certified high-grade examples can trade for more among collectors. If you're building your collection, here are some positive and practical tips. First, always handle coins carefully. Even a very fine coin benefits from being held by its edges, not touched with bare fingers, as oils and dirt can affect its surface. Second, consider investing in simple protective holders or flips. These make your coins easier to store and display, and that little bit of protection goes a long way toward maintaining or even increasing collector value over time. Next, if you think your 1980 Australian 20-cent coin might be in exceptionally nice condition, or maybe you suspect it's an uncirculated or proof version, consider getting it verified and graded by a reputable service. A professional grading can boost confidence and sometimes value if you ever choose to sell or trade. And most importantly, enjoy the journey. Whether you found this coin in pocket change, inherited it from a relative, or picked it up at a coin show, every piece has a story, and that's part of what makes collecting so rewarding. To wrap up, the 1980 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition is a wonderful example of lasting design, meaningful history, and approachable collector value. It's a coin that's easy to love and easy to include in a collection, with a positive appeal that spans generations. Next up, today we're diving into something small in size, but surprisingly interesting in story. The Australia 20-cent coin from 2004, especially the rust brown version in fine condition, and what it could be worth on today's market. If you're a coin enthusiast, a beginner collector, or just curious about old pocket change, that might be hiding value, this one's for you. Let's start off with the history and background of this coin. The 20-cent piece is one of Australia's circulating coins that was first introduced way back in 1966 when Australia changed to decimal currency. The design has stayed true to its roots over decades, with the iconic platypus on the reverse side and a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. In this case, the fourth portrait by Ian Rank Broadley, used during the early 2000s. The 2004 issue is one of many years with a high mintage, meaning millions of pieces were struck. But that doesn't make it any less fascinating to look at or collect. Now, if you happen to have one of these 2004 Australian 20-cent coins and it looks a bit rust brown, that's mostly due to natural toning and oxidation over time. Coins made for circulation, especially copper-nickel alloys like this one, will often develop a brownish patina if they've been exposed to air, moisture, or just everyday handling. It's not a flaw. In fact, it's a sign of age and authenticity, and many collectors actually appreciate that warm-aged look as part of the coin's history. When we talk about the coin's round shape and composition, this piece is exactly what you'd expect from an Australian 20-cent coin. It's perfectly round, measures roughly, and is made from a copper-nickel blend that gives it enough durability for years of circulation, while offering that distinctive sheen when new. Collectors tend to look at more than just the year or the when they evaluate a coin. They pay attention to condition, rarity, and demand. This is where things get interesting. Because over 70 million of these 2004 coins were struck for circulation, they're generally common, and most examples you'll find are worth no more than a bit above, even in fine condition. Some collector guides and marketplaces for world coins estimate current values for a circulated 2004 Australian 20-cent coin in the range of around $1.50, $0 to $1.70, $0 in dollars. But here's the positive twist. While your average circulated 2004 Australian 20 cents in fine condition might only fetch around 50 cents to a couple of dollars on the open market, there is collector interest out there. People who specialize in Australian decimal coins often enjoy adding every year's piece to their collection, especially if the coin has interesting toning, looks crisp, or has slight die variations that make it stand out. Even though the typical market value isn't going to break records or make you rich, having a clean example with good surfaces and some natural brown toning can still make it appealing to buyers on platforms like auction sites. Now let's talk directly to you, the collector. If you're just getting started with coin collecting, the most important tip is to pay attention to condition and storage. Handle your coins gently, preferably by the edges, and store them in cool, dry places. Albums, flips, or capsules are great. A coin that has stayed safe over the years with minimal scratches, wear, and corrosion will always draw more interest compared to one that has been tossed around loose. And if you ever think you might have a rare variety, such as a minor die shift, or a distinctive pointy A in the word Australia, take a closer look or ask a specialist. Little details can sometimes make a surprisingly big difference for fellow collectors. Another tip is to regularly check recent sold listings on online auctions and collector forums rather than just listed prices. The price sellers list a coin for, and what buyers are actually willing to pay, can be quite different, and knowing real market trends helps you price your own coins more accurately. To wrap things up, the 2004 Australian 20-cent coin in fine rust brown condition is a delightful little piece of numismatic history. It's a tangible bit of everyday life from over 2 decades ago, and while most of these coins trade near or slightly above face, they still hold a special place in Australian coin collections around the world. With the right care and a keen eye, coins like this can be both a fun hobby and a way to connect with the story behind the money we use every day. Next up, today we're diving into something really cool for coin lovers and casual collectors alike, the Australian 20-cent coin from 2016 in very fine condition, and what it's worth in today's market. This is one of those coins that might be sitting in your pocket right now without you even realizing its story and potential value. Let's start with a bit of history, because this coin has more to it than just its face. The Australian 20-cent piece is part of the decimal currency system that was introduced way back in 1966 when Australia transitioned from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system. Since that year, the 20-cent coin has been a staple in everyday Australian cash, with its classic circular shape, milled edge, and solid feel. The 2016 edition we're talking about has its own unique place in that story. In that year, several commemorative designs were released to celebrate special themes like peacekeeping or anniversaries, as well as the standard platypus design that many of us instantly recognize. These coins were struck in giving them durability and that familiar silvery look, with a weight of about and a diameter just under. Now let's talk condition and why it matters. When we say very fine condition, we mean a coin that's clearly circulated, but still retains strong details. The lettering is clear, the rim is intact, and the design elements haven't been worn down to the point where you have to squint to see them. For collectors, condition is everything because it's one of the biggest factors in value. A coin in very fine condition is enjoyable to hold, looks great in a collection, and shows that it has lived a life in people's pockets without being beaten up completely. But what about the collector demand for these coins? The 2016 20 cents isn't incredibly rare in the way that some older coins can be, but there's definitely interest out there. Collectors like the 2016 issue because some of the designs were limited compared to normal circulation coins, and certain commemorative versions can be more desirable. Enthusiasts look for pieces with good detail, nice color, and those that tell a story like the ones marking Australia's heritage or special events from that year. So how does all that translate into current market value in US dollars? For the standard 2016 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition, most market pricing guides and recent online sales show that these coins are generally worth a bit more than typically around $1.30, $0 to $1,140,000 US dollars, depending on condition and demand at the moment. Some listings and collector sites suggest values in the neighborhood of about $1.50, $0 to $1.70, 0 or more, for very fine pieces that are clean and have nice detail. Of course, that doesn't mean every 2016 20-cent coin you find will go for exactly that. Some versions, especially if they're uncirculated, graded, or have unique collectible appeal, can go higher. A coin that has been certified and graded by a professional service can command a premium, and we've even seen some specimens sell for much more when they're in nearly perfect condition and graded. For collectors just starting out, my tip would be to enjoy the hunt and focus on coins you personally find interesting. Don't rush to sell something just because it has a date on it. Sometimes the joy comes from building a set bit by bit, learning about each design, and watching your collection grow over time. Also, take good care of your coins. Store them in protective holders, handle them gently by the edges, and keep them away from moisture and oils. Those simple practices go a long way toward preserving detail and condition, which in turn helps maintain value. If you ever think you have something truly special, consider getting it professionally graded. It could make a real difference. To wrap up, the 2016 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition is a lovely piece of nation's minting history. It carries the weight of decades of decimal currency heritage, is composed from classic copper-nickel to endure the years, and holds modest but genuine appeal to collectors around the world. If you have one, treasure it. It's a small piece of history you can hold in your hand. And who knows, as your collection grows, maybe one day you'll uncover an even rarer coin worth far more than you expected. Next up, today we're diving into something really cool for coin lovers and treasure hunters. We're talking about the Australia 20 cents from 2020, especially those unusual ones that appear rust brown in color and in fine condition. If you're curious about what makes these coins special, how much they're worth today in dollars, and why collectors around the world are interested, stick around because we're covering the full story in a very positive way. Let's rewind a bit and take a look at the history behind this coin. The Australian 20 cents piece is a fascinating coin with a rich background. Australia introduced the 20-cent denomination way back on 14 February 1966, when the country decimalized its currency. Its design features the iconic platypus swimming on the reverse, created by the renowned designer Stuart Devlin, and this design has been beloved by collectors and everyday users alike for decades. Now the 2020 version of the 20-cent coin shares that same classic heritage. These coins were produced in cupronickel, a blend of giving them that familiar silver tone right out of the mint. This metal mix ages with a soft, light patina over time, but when you find one with a rust-brown appearance, that's something collectors take notice of. That brown look can come from environmental reactions or contact with other metals, and while it doesn't mean the coin has iron or actual rust, it does give it a unique look that makes it stand out from others in circulation. This coin is round, weighing about with a diameter just under. The good news is that the material, a solid cupronickel alloy, is durable and resists corrosion. So why most 2020 Australian 20-cent pieces you'll find in your pocket still look good after years of use. But those with a brownish hue often spark curiosity. Are they errors? Are they rare? They might not be errors in the minting process, but because they look different from the regular silver-tone coins, enthusiasts see beauty and individuality in them, which adds to the fun of collecting. Collectors around the world have an eye for detail. They appreciate quality condition and anything that tells a story, like an unusual color, finish, or patina. While most 2020 Australian 20-cent coins are common in circulated condition, people who collect modern coins often seek out examples in fine, extremely fine, or uncirculated condition to add to their albums or showcases. Now, you might wonder, does that brown tone make your 2020 Australian 20-cent coin instantly valuable? In general, the basic 2020 Australian 20-cent pieces are relatively common millions were struck at the Royal Australian Mint. Collectors still like them because they represent the evolution of Australian decimal coinage in the 21st century. Their appeal is especially high among modern coin collectors who enjoy finding multiple versions of the same coin from different years, conditions, and appearances. So, let's talk about the current market value, and I'll help you understand realistic numbers in US dollars today. According to coin value databases and recent online sales, a standard circulated 2020 Australian 20C coin will often trade for just slightly above in collector markets, something like about $1.30, 0 to $1.40, 0 USD for those in regular circulated condition. When the coin is in fine condition, like the ones with nice details and minimal wear, prices can go a bit higher, sometimes around $2.40, 0 to $2.60, 0 USD, depending on exactly how nice the coin looks and how strong demand is among buyers online. A quick look at recent listings on collector marketplaces shows that even humble 2020 20-cent pieces can sell around a few dollars, which is a win if you're selling duplicates or upgrading your collection. What's important to understand is that coins become more valuable when they have either low mintage, errors, or exceptional condition, and those factors can push prices far above typical levels. If you're just getting into coin collecting, or you found one of these unusual brown 2020 Australian 20-cent coins in your change, here's a mindset to embrace. Always appreciate each coin for its story and condition. Collectors love coins that are well preserved, so keep your coins in protective holders or flips, and avoid cleaning them harshly. Cleaning can actually reduce collector value. When you're evaluating value, always compare sold prices rather than asking prices. Listings can sometimes show coins priced extremely high, but what matters is what they actually sold for. That's the true market value. And remember, coins that look different, like those with brown tones, are great conversation pieces in your collection and may even help you connect with other collectors who love unique pieces. To wrap it up, the Australia 20-cent 2020 rust brown coin in fine condition is a wonderful piece of modern currency to explore. It has deep historical roots in the story of Australian decimal money. It's made from solid materials that age in unique ways, and it certainly brings joy to collectors who love variety. While most examples are still worth only a few dollars, your enthusiasm and care can make collecting them a rewarding hobby.